Heyo everyone, Misha be barking here. I'm sure you've likely heard by now, but a furry by the name of Vitai Slade went on Fox News to discuss with them about furries. I actually had a script for a different Fox News furry video because Nonstop Pup had an article written about them when they and many other furries went to a college course in fursuit to discuss furries to a class. As far as I know, Nonstop Pup didn't agree to having an article written about them, let alone show up on a live show on Fox. Vitai did, and it went about as well as you think it did. Today we're going to discuss who Vitai is, his relation to the furry community, as well as watching and reacting to the interview itself. That being said, today's video is going to focus on the interview, so if you'd like more information about Vitai, my friend Lagovert is going to be discussing him in a video as well, and he'll be focusing on the worst stuff. The much worse stuff. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's dive on in. Vitai is a furry. Shocking, I know. Their main persona seems to be a white tiger, but they ended up wearing a raccoon on the show. He's the owner of the well-known furry site The Dealer's Den, a sort of hub for suit makers and artists to list their items for sale. Hey, post-editing Misha here, they're actually forcing him to step down and sell it. Like, they released a statement as I'm recording this video. I got a message from my friend Solus, and it was a link to The Dealer's Den posting about, hey, we're getting rid of Vitai, someone else is taking over. So, I guess he doesn't own it anymore. Anyway, back to the scripted portion. Now, Vitai didn't make The Dealer's Den. He bought it from someone named Cinnaboo in January of 2018. He also owns two other furry-based businesses called Party Animal and Pumpkin Patch. It's unclear whether or not he made these or bought them like he did The Dealer's Den, but that's not what's important. We're here to discuss the interview. The interview countless furries told him not to do. An overwhelming majority of people who voted for this told him no, do not go on the show. Now, of course, the poll size is only 100 of his followers, but like, dude, it's Fox News. Don't let their name fool you, they're not on our side. The show has nothing to do with foxes and isn't news in the slightest. I'm not joking either, even the news portion of their name is wrong. They're a conspiracy nuts wet dream, only giving bits and pieces of stories to further their agendas and even outright lying about things to make it seem like they're right. Political scientists and professors David Brookman and Joshua Kalla, whom teach at UC Berkeley and Yale respectively, conducted a study called The Manifold Effects in Partisan Media on Viewers' Beliefs and Attitudes, a field experiment with Fox News viewers. According to Brookman and Kalla, when these Fox viewers watched CNN, they heard about all sorts of things Fox wasn't telling them. They processed that information. They took it in. They became more knowledgeable about what's really going on in the United States. The experiment didn't change their political preferences, certainly not within just 1 month, but it slightly altered their perceptions of certain key issues and political candidates. The study authors differentiated between traditionally emphasized forms of media influence, like agenda setting and framing, and what they call partisan coverage filtering, the choice to selectively report information about selective topics, based on what's favorable to the network's partisan side, and ignore everything else. Essentially what this is saying is that Fox was leaving out the other side of things, only reporting on the stuff their viewers would want to hear, and leaving out anything that would disprove of their side's agenda. When avid Fox viewers were given a different news source to watch, and thus given the bigger picture, they processed and listened to that information that they hadn't been presented at all by their preferred news source. We're using news very loosely here. So yeah, Fox News should change their name to Faux News, because that's all they are. A conspiracy machine pretending to tell news while doing nothing but lying to its viewers. Anyway, back to Vitai. What type of furry had Fox News hand-selected to be on their show? Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, why? So yeah, the beacon of hope chosen to represent the furry community was an anti-vax crypto bro. Good God. But wait, it's okay guys, he's in the top 10% in terms of IQ. Dude, why did you do it? You're giving more fuel to the fire for the people that hate us. There were many factors that played into my decision. I have experience with 2 different newspapers and an NPR broadcast. I have been in the furry fandom for over 15 years, so I've been around the block a few times. I am in the 10% of the country in regards to IQ. If you have to mention your IQ to win an argument, my guy, you've already lost. Sounded like Sheldon Cooper, man. Shut the f up. Anyway, it's time. Let's watch the interview and discuss it, shall we? Now, confession. I've already seen this interview, so it's not new to me. However, if you guys would like to listen to or watch my first-hand reaction, then be sure to check out BarkBarkMeow, a furry podcast that my friends Ruby, Solus, and I are starting up. We'll have the episode up soon. A link to the channel will be in the description. Alright, puppy gang, let's do some reacting. So before I even start, let's see how far we get into the video before Fox News says something pandering to their side, shall we?
Ever since Ron DeSantis signed Florida's Protection of Children Act, the left's been treating him like Mussolini. The law just prevents kids from attending adult live performances like drag brunches.
Yep, there it is. We are 11 seconds in. Drag brunches are not an adult thing.
Makes sense. You wouldn't take your kid to a strip club, so why would you take him to a Man stripping at a brunch.
You're gonna hear that a lot throughout this video, where they make these extreme comparisons so that if you debate that comparison, you look wrong. It's a straw man fallacy. Like, they'll say, you wouldn't take your children to a strip club. Like, no shit, that's not what the left wants either. But they make this comparison knowing that their viewers will eat it up and think that this problem is black and white. People who watch this news site are not capable of thinking gray. Nuances? Never heard of her.
But the bill's led to some unintended consequences, and it's made a powerful group of people upset. Furries.
Hey, powerful? That's a change of pace. Thanks, Fox News. Maybe they're not so bad after all.
What are furries? They're a group of people who dress up in costume and pretend to be animals. They like to go to conventions.
Oh my god, that was my friend Soren. Hi, Soren.
I guess this is just good, clean fun. Different strokes for different folks and all, but there's also a sexual undercurrent at the events.
Here we go.
Some of it gets like, you know, well, watch out for the guy with the paddle.
So they mention a guy with a paddle. More on that later, but you'll find out that it's not even related to the con at all. This is not a furry thing. It's next to the con that some furries like to go to get lunch and get spanked, I guess. But throughout this entire interview, he keeps equating it to the furry community. Sure, furries happen to go there to eat because it's next to the con and it's funny, and it could be argued that this isn't really even a sexual thing. Like, this is just for fun.
We now turn it over to a real-life furry, David Kanaska, to respond. All right, David, how old are you?
I'm 32.
And what are you supposed to be dressed up as here?
Currently, I'm a raccoon.
Am I the only one that thinks this looks nothing like a raccoon? Like, it's got the eyes, but like, I've never seen a raccoon with such pointy ears. Anyway, I digress.
And why are you dressed up as a raccoon?
Well, isn't it fun?
For you? You tell me.
Oh, for me, absolutely. I'm hoping it's fun for everyone around me. The joy of bringing smiles to everyone's face is really the only reason that I like to do this. Getting smiles and bringing people happiness in all sorts of ways. The furries, I know specifically, are great at art and dance and theatrical performance. And it all brings with it.
Look, obviously I disagree with a furry going on Fox News, but like, all things considered, other than stuttering, so far so good. This didn't start off bad. Like, he's making a good point where, you know, we all come together as a community to share our interest in different art, fursuits, and everything. This, he doesn't do good for very much longer, though.
Well, I mean, you're also great at spankings. Did you see the video we just played?
This is what I was talking about. Immediately equates it to that.
What's going on with the spankings at the furry conventions?
Well, there's a popular restaurant called the Habra House. And this is a restaurant that is pretty close to one of the conventions that we set up every year. And at the Habra House, it's customary in Germanic tradition to, I guess, slap the asses of all of the patrons. Okay. I don't know why.
I didn't know the Germans were into that kind of kink, but there's a lot I don't know.
No. No, I clicked on the wrong thing. No! Don't make me watch it out again. Don't you fuck. See, here he mentions it's next to the con, but with the chuds at Fox News, you have to be direct. You have to say, this is not affiliated with the con, we just go over there. That being said, he could have said anything, and people who watch Fox News, and especially this anchor, they already have their minds made up. It doesn't matter what Vitai could have came on here and said. None of it would have sufficed. They would have still made him look like a fool. And that's the biggest thing, is you went into their territory, essentially, and tried to make us look good. No, like I mentioned earlier, they spin narratives. They're gonna spin this to make you look as bad as possible. This could have been the best interview imaginable, and they still would have spun it to be bad.
So why do you want kids around people dressed up as squirrels getting spanked?
There it is. He immediately equates it. He makes a bridge that isn't there. Like, oh, we want younger furs to be able to experience the community and be able to go to cons and meet other furries like them. And this fucking walnut goes, oh, so you want them to be spanked at cons? You want them to see people getting spanked? No! Use your brain for half a goddamn second. Like I said, they're not capable of seeing a gray area. They just immediately go, oh, well, this is happening at furry cons, so obviously this is happening everywhere in the con space around children 24/7. Like, buddy, have you ever been to a Comic-Con? You think that shit stays PG behind closed doors? No.
Me, personally, I don't. I think that it's definitely an adult-only environment for that. The furry conventions themselves don't have anything to do with that, though. The furry conventions themselves are really about community and bringing people together. You know, a lot of us, we're not so socially it's a little bit tough. You know, it's easy to make fun of furries.
I think this was hands down the hardest part of the interview to sit through, because unfortunately, this is the part where, you know, Fox News has him by the balls. There's almost nothing he could have replied that would have got him out of this, and that's exactly what Fox News wanted, and that's exactly what they would have gotten, no matter what. Top 10% of IQ can't save you from looking like an absolute dumbass.
So why are you upset that kids are not allowed to be at the furry convention?
Well, me personally, I think that it is a great way to include everyone, no matter, you know, what their age. It's nothing, there's nothing inherently sexual about these conventions. You have panels that teach you how to create costumes or dance, or we have variety shows and all kinds of stuff, but it's not sexual. It has nothing to do with that.
Okay, you say it's not sexual. That's fine. We have video that proves otherwise.
Yeah, see, there he goes making a false equivalence again. Oh, you say it's not sexual, but we have this video of this person getting spanked at this other location, not to do with the con. That'd be like going up to a teacher and being like, oh, well, we know that you're good with the kids, and we know that you love your job teaching, but, you have a child, which means you have, you've been very not good, you know? You've done the sex, which means we can't have you around the children because you can't be doing that and then be around children. Like, it's exactly like that. If you have a sex life, boom, you're not allowed to be around children. Anyway, the main point is, like, there's the safe for work side and the NSFW side, and he's sitting there and trying to equate the two into one space and saying that, oh, the entire con is NSFW because things that are NSFW happen there. And no, that's not the case. There are plenty of safe for work spaces. As a matter of fact, the majority of the con space is safe for work. It's mainly like room parties or 18 plus panels, which they check at the door to make sure you're 18. Those spaces don't allow children. Wow, who would have guessed? It's almost like we're not doing the thing he's trying to accuse us of doing. But again, this is Fox News, and thinking gray is not allowed. It's black and white, baby. If one thing happens, then the entire con must be, you know, themed around that.
But if, like, the governor said you can't have kids at the convention, why wouldn't you just say, okay, it's too bad, move on? Why are you and your crew so insistent on having the kids there?
That's the other thing he keeps framing, is that we're insistent, we want kids there. Now, me personally, I'm not a big fan of kids. I don't do well with children. Those screaming snot goblins, keep them away from me, you know? And like, there's people arguing that this is a good thing because it's an 18 plus con now. And okay, I see the argument, and I agree that, you know, 18 plus cons would be kind of lit, but like, we want that to happen naturally. We want to come to that conclusion of an 18 plus con, not because of a governor deciding, hey, this is now an NSFW thing, so you can't have kids there, even though it's literally not, and we've been over this countless times. But yeah, he keeps saying that we're insistent on having kids there. No, we're not. We want kids to have the option to go. The option to be able to meet friends and be able to see people who are just like them.
Do you blame yourself at all for being misunderstood? I mean, you're the one dressed up as a raccoon.
Oh, absolutely. I think that this is absolutely crazy and weird and fun. And that's the point. I think, you know, it's supposed to gain attention.
That's the smartest thing he said throughout this entire interview. Too bad the first half was terrible. Furry is weird. I'm not gonna sit here and deny that dressing up as a giant cartoon dog isn't the weirdest thing of my day. The issue is, a lot of people think weird equals bad, and that's not the case. If you enjoy it and it's not hurting anyone, by all means. I don't care how weird it is. But a lot of people are just so tangled up in, oh, this has to be normal, everything has to be normal 24/7, that anything weirder against the norm is immediately villainized, furries included.
If I came to one of your conventions, David, or maybe we sent Johnny to the convention, what should we dress up as?
You can dress up however you want. We've had Jack Sparrows show up. We've had all kinds of different animals. What kind of animal do you think you would be?
Probably a dinosaur.
This was almost a cute interaction if the rest of it wasn't like, you know, villainizing furries. Also, like, I think Ruby said on the podcast, like, non-furries choose the coolest sonas. A dinosaur? That's where your brain first went? That's awesome. Although I just realized this is Fox News, and half their viewers probably don't even believe in dinosaurs. So, yeah, that's the interview, and, that could have gone better. Now, this raises a controversial question. Should furries talk to the media? My stance on this is, for the most part, no. One individual cannot represent this community as a whole, and many people watching any sort of interview will likely take what you say as a message representing the entire community. Now, of course, there are orgs or people who genuinely want to learn more about the community as a whole. I've had wonderful conversations with non-furries about the community, and informed them of the positives the community offers to its members. There's been articles and interviews done about and with furries that portrays the community in a more real light, and those are wonderful to see. If an interviewee reaches out to you, you must research into who they are or what organization they're from, and base your decision from there. I had an older man pull me aside at Pride last week and tell me he wanted to speak with me later about being a furry, and I quote, address some topics about furries. Now, this struck me as a red flag, and I didn't find him after the parade. He came to me and seemingly expected me to address negative aspects of the community, and I didn't feel like a good representative to do that. And I don't feel comfortable in answering accusing questions about my community. Now, I may have misread the entire situation, and he may have been genuinely curious about the furry community, but in my opinion, better safe than sorry. So, we're to the end of the video. This sure was a topic. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video or found it informative and interesting. And if you're not a furry and somehow watching this, remember, one voice does not represent the whole community. Make sure to check out multiple sources and people before making a concrete opinion on furry, or anything else in life. And with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!